Hello, Gary Hernandez here, and welcome to Cane Self-Defense with Master Gary Hernandez. A little while back, Canemasters Cane Manufacturing Company and myself were discussing me creating a signature cane with them. So I sat there and thought about all the things on the cane that I would like to have for me for self-defense. And after thinking about it for a while, I came up with a cane that I wanted to have made with the things on there I wanted that I felt that would benefit me. And I wanted the cane to be black versus the regular wooden color because I wanted to have something at night, a little more stealthier. So when I'm swinging it, it's a little harder to see. And Canemasters created for me the ShadowHawk. Now, this cane is made out of hickory, and it's made specifically for my height, like they do for everybody when they make a cane for them. Now, the features on this cane that I wanted to have, I went ahead and went with, and I'll talk about the grips first. I went with standard grips on the upper and lower shaft of the cane, so I can grab, I can have a good two-hand strike, or when I'm doing a single strike or a single swing, I have a good solid grip. Now, moving up to the crook, I also have finger grips on the crook and underneath for my fingers here, so when I'm swinging from tip on the floor, I have a nice hold, and I like that very much. When I'm holding my cane, it feels really nice. Now, one of the reasons I call it the ShadowHawk is number one, being that it's a black cane, gives kind of that darker look, and number two, on the beak, I went a little bit aggressive. Now, I went with an aggressive pointy horn or beak, so when I'm digging into somebody, I can really dig in and tear into them pretty good. And if you look at the aggressive front end nose, you know from that, we can strike with that very well. And even on the beak on the sides, it's aggressive right here, so I can smack into somebody pretty good. Now, on the palm rest, I went with a shorter palm rest. Now, I do have smaller hands, but I went with a shorter palm rest because, number one, it fits me perfectly. And when I shift down, and I've told a lot of people in the past how you can simply think about cocking a gun and loading your hand up here to bypass that, which works really well. But I wanted to have it to where I'm easily able to get over it for maneuvering. And not to mention, I had the palm rest kind of made chisel style. So instead of just being more of a rounded, it kind of goes in and then chisels in. And the reason I did that, or had it done that way, is so when I'm striking or I'm smacking, I get that chisel cutting effect. And that's going to be very painful to somebody when I catch them in certain areas of the body. So that works well for me on smacking solid areas as well as even jointed areas. Now, standard around the neck opens up, it pulls with no problem. And also, even though I did have a smaller palm rest, it still works perfectly when I'm striking into a throat or catching somebody in the shoulder. I'm going to show you a couple of things about that. I didn't want to go with shark's teeth because I have several canes already with shark's teeth, but the reason I didn't want the design of the shark teeth built into the ShadowHawk is the fact that shark teeth you're going to see right off the bat. But I went with a teardrop. Now, unlike some of the canes they do where the teardrops goes all the way down like a sword, I didn't want that. I wanted my teardrop to be between the handles because when someone's swinging, I'm going to show you how much damage can be done with that. Now, this cane, very sturdy, and like I said, the name is laser engraved. Also, if you see there, this is custom designed by Master Gary Hernandez for Canemasters. And I'm going to show you some of the things that can be done with this. Give me a hand is going to be Mr. Bob. And we're going to slowly go over the features of the ShadowHawk. Now, number one, being that it's a darker cane, especially in low level light, it's going to be a little harder to see as I'm swinging at somebody. Now, let's talk about the teardrop section. And the teardrop, as you're going to see right there, has a nice kind of an edge. So if someone's doing a haymaker swing, I'm going to cut into that arm. So unlike a round cane, which is still gonna hurt and smack them, the teardrop is gonna bust into that bone area a bit. So it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hit that fleshy area or hit that bony area. It's gonna make that arm do that and pull back. So if he's swinging, even if I catch that wrist area and he's throwing that wild haymaker strong but not fast. As he does that, as it's coming through powerful, I'm going into it and I'm hitting. I could catch the wrist, I could catch the forearm, and that is gonna cut perfectly into him. Now, I can turn the cane if I don't wanna use the teardrop, and I can use the rounded portion of the cane for more of a blunt strike. If I want to get somebody off me, or I want to give them a little shot to the forehead to stun them, but not take a chance of cutting into that flesh. Then if it's more of an aggressive situation, I can turn it. Now I have that teardrop, and that teardrop, when I hit that face area, it's gonna do what's called a pressurized cut. It's gonna cut them open. I know that for a fact because I've done that with other objects on people that have attacked me in the past. So I can strike into it. I can hit that throat. I can catch that head. If he's throwing a solid haymaker again, I can actually step in and catch the body, and I can get a good bite into him with the teardrop. That's going to hurt a bit. So the teardrop is going to cause more pain and more damage than when I'm using the rounded edge. But being that I have the teardrop between the handles, I have that luxury of blocking, striking, and still having rounded areas to strike left or right with. Now, again, even though I went with a smaller palm rest, it doesn't take away from any of the techniques that I teach. Again, if he's throwing that haymaker, I can catch that shoulder blade and pop into it. If we get a little closer, turn this way, sir. As he starts to throw, I hit right there, pushing that shoulder away. It's gonna hurt that shoulder, but not cause too much of an injury. Or if it has to take it to the next level, and we have to go, let's say Savage Cane style, I have perfectly into the throat. I can go into the face area, right under the nose. If he was throwing a kick, I can pop downward into that knee area. I can even catch him in the hip or pelvic area with this, because now I have this right here almost becomes like this for striking anywhere on the body. It's going to be able to hit him, push him. Now, again, this is a chiseled edge. So now when I'm in close, I have the hammer effect. I can strike down on that collarbone, causing pretty good injury. If I don't want to cause that much of an injury, I can rotate it and strike with the crook, which it's gonna hurt, but not have that chiseled effect of biting into that bone area or breaking that collarbone. I could also catch the jawline, which is gonna pretty much dislocate that jaw. If he was starting to reach for me, I could step back, coming down with that onto the arm, wrist area, elbow, causing injuries. If he starts to throw another haymaker from here, I can step back using that hammer chisel into him, putting that same palm strike right into those ribs. So I go from this to more of a isolating chisel effect, causing an injury. Same thing if he was kicking, I can step back, come down on that knee, just like a huge hammer, but with a nice chisel end to break into bone, flesh, whatever I need to do. So the ShadowHawk has the things on it that I like. Has good grips on front and back, has grips on the top. So again, if I'm here, I can swing from tip on the floor, I can chamber down. Because I have the palm rest not super huge, it allows me to shoot easily over it, bring it around, yet still be able to move. With the palm rest the way it's designed, I have that striking feature this way, or chiseled hammer effect coming in. With the sharp point, I can dig in, manipulate the body, or just hammer straight up and cause injury. So the ShadowHawk is a design that I gave Canemasters, and they put it into their cane. So here is the ShadowHawk. Now, I'm going to be having a link attached to this video. If it's not on there when I put this, it'll be on there soon. That's going to take you to a direct page that Canemasters set up for me. It's going to have probably about 5 to 6 different canes that I like that you can take a look at through the Canemaster industry. And I'm going to have an accessory or two on there also. So if you like certain canes, you can go on there and check them out, and you can order them through the link that I'm going to have connected. Now what I did was I picked for their link, I picked different value canes. I picked some canes that are a little more high end, that have more features on them and are designed a lot more for tactical fighting. And then I picked 2 canes that were in the $100 range areas. And then I picked 2 canes that were in, one in the $43 area, one around the $60 or $70 area. That way there's different price levels for different people. Different starter canes, different canes with palm rest, non-palm rest, give you a kind of variety to look at. So if you're interested, you can order those through my link on my channel, and you'll be able to order those canes that I kind of like. And those canes are canes that I have looked at, I have touched, I have felt, I have actually handled. Some of them are on my YouTube channels where you're seeing me using them, like the black belt cane, stuff like that, the training canes. And those are canes that I'm showing you that I know about, that I've used, that I've touched, I handled, and that I believe will definitely work for you. So again, if you get an opportunity, once the link's on here, check out that link. If you don't see it for some reason, come back, check it on there. It should be on there. And you guys will get a chance to get all the information on the cost of all those canes I was talking about and the specs on them all. But right here, this is the ShadowHawk, designed by me, made by Canemasters. Gary Hernandez, thank you, and I will see you guys real soon.